Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to give a 5-minute exposition about plain language summaries. And as the title says, mainly I write them. But as a patient, which is what I am first and foremost, I also read a lot of them. And every now and then I actually get to try to teach other people how to write them. And as a journal editor, as we're about to see, I'm also involved with the editing process for plain language summaries. So here we go. The journal I edit is Research Involvement and Engagement. And as the slide says, it is a journal that specialises in involvement and engagement of patients and the public as equal partners at some point in the research process. It is a co-produced journal. We have patient reviewers on every single paper that we publish, and we have many patient authors as individuals or indeed as members of groups. So our track record so far, we're reasonably average in terms of our metrics about how long it takes to publish things. We have published over 500 papers so far. We've been around for 9 years, give or take. And we have lots of people reading the papers. My statement about what I think we're trying to do is essentially, we are trying to encourage the involvement of patients in the research process in all aspects. And in particular, we are, of course, interested in the involvement of patients in the publication process. The most important point on this slide is the bottom one. Every single submission to us has to have a plain language summary, and if it doesn't, the people submitting it are asked to provide one before we even consider it for peer review. That's partly protection for me. I am not a scientist. I'm a historian by university degree, so I want something that I can understand, and wading through an umpteen-page journal paper is not my way of understanding things. So I want plain language summaries because that's the kind of language I speak and understand. People have said that because we insist on the plain language summaries, we may be dumbing down, but as far as we're concerned, we're bringing in particular, we are bringing in an audience. A journal that specialises in involvement and engagement of patients and the public needs to make sure that our papers, and it is an academic journal, so they are academic papers, but nevertheless, they need to be accessible to that particular audience. As that says there, plain language summaries are accessible. Or they should be. 10% of our submissions don't include them, so they go back to the authors. 20% still contain jargon and slab-like sentences. Plain language clearly is not plain English, especially for those for whom English is not their first language. And getting patients to write them doesn't actually always solve the problem, because often people use expert patients who simply adopt the language that they have picked up from the researchers. There's also the question about what is plain and to whom, and I zero in on one particular word that we tried and failed to ban, which is meaningful, because the word meaningful is full of meanings. So research can be meaningful, which often means it's of value for the funders, or the involvement was effective for the researchers, or it's somehow cathartic and therapeutic for the patients. So you have dozens of different meanings. So what can look like plain language is often a little world of its own. The other thing I have not put on that slide, but I'm going to finish with it, is this issue of the word summary. Most of the plain language summaries we see still follow the same construct as researchers do for writing their papers and abstract. It's still background method results conclusion. But actually, if you read newspapers or watch your TV news, you will find things in a different order. What's the story? They start with the conclusion. So if you are writing a summary in plain language for an audience of patients and the public, I do suggest you change the running order of the contents. Start with the conclusion. That's why we get involved in research. We want research to find things that benefit patients. So if you're doing a plain language summary of your study into little toe disease, then if you find a cure for little toe disease, please put that in the first couple of sentences, then explain how you did it. Thanks very much. I look forward to questions.